I'm on Facebook the other day, and a seller in Facebook Marketplace, they are giving away a free slant top IGT red, white, and blue S Plus slot machine. I have completely stripped the machine, and right now we're going to go through one piece at a time. I'm going to show you everything I got out of it and whether you can use it or not in your machine. I'm Lawton Barnes. You are in the metal shop. This was a red, white, and blue slant top. I've got a red, white, and blue upright, and these glass panels came out. Do they fit? No, they do not. The slant top has totally different glass. I can't reuse these on my machine. They don't fit, but this would be an item that I could sell on eBay or possibly even use the inserts that go on the back if I wanted to replace an insert on my machine, because that one's kind of cool because it says car. But just to get started with the glass, not compatible, does not fit an upright. And this is the motherboard. This is the motherboard that the S Plus MPU board seats into when you put it in the machine like that. I checked the part numbers on this, and this one is different. So this also is unique to the slant top cabinet and will not be a screw-in replacement for your upright machine. Here we have the S Plus MPU board. This visually looks to be in good condition to me, so that would definitely be a candidate for use in a machine like this. I'm pretty sure that this metal frame that it's in is going to be unique to the slant top machine. So I would remove these screws, pull this board, mount it in the metal frame that comes with an upright machine, and that looks to be a drop-in replacement to me. So S Plus MPU board appears to be compatible. Next up, this was an LED screen. That is definitely unique to the slant top. I don't think I have any use for that, so this could be an item that gets sold on eBay. I got a good power cord out of the deal. That's one of our D-shaped power cords. I can use that on just about anything, so that's a winner. And also connecting to the power cord is this EMI filter. If you're building your own power supply on your bench, you may want one of those, so that was a useful item to pull. Next, the candle. This is the candle from the slant top, and it's a different style than any of my machines, especially in that it has gold trim on it. It's a little shorter than the candles on the upright draw pokers. It's shorter than that one too. But nonetheless, if you had a machine that didn't have a candle on it, then this would be a decent replacement. I don't think anybody would notice that it wasn't the same size. This was a good score. These are the optical door sensors that detect whether your door is open or closed. They're easily damaged, and these look to me like they are the exact same part that's used in both the S Plus slot machines and in the upright poker machines. Note that the plugs that they use are exactly the same, and as for which one is the inside and which one goes on the door, note that you have two red wires, but that there's one of them is black and one of them is white. So looking in here, it seems that the white one is the one that you would use on the inside, while the black wire is the one that goes to the sensor on the door. Okay, here is our coin slot from a slant top machine, and this machine was set up for quarters. And so it allows a quarter to drop through. If this were a nickel machine, that would be smaller. The metal housing here is different. It is larger and does not match up with a poker machine or a slot machine. But the inside piece is the important part. This part with the tab, this part that's the actual The actual slot that the quarters drop through is made of a secondary piece of metal. It has hex bolts that hold it in from the back, and so you can pull this little part out and put it into the coin receiver on your machine. This is also an expensive piece to buy. I got one of these on eBay. For one of these machines, it costs $50. If you don't want to spend 50 bucks, that was a decent score. Okay, right here, we got a big pile of wires. I don't normally go to the extent of pulling all the wires out of a machine like I did on this, because with wiring harnesses, they rarely fail. Usually if a wiring harness fails, it's going to be something really obvious, like a wire got pinched in a door and you can see that it's broken. But otherwise, most of this stuff is very reliable. But I thought it would be worthwhile to pull it just in case you ever needed to replace any of these Molex connectors. These are expensive and hard to find. And you've also got a lot of color-coded wire in here. So if you ever wanted to replace a piece of wire and say you wanted one that was purple with a yellow stripe on it, you could, come in here and cut out one of these and match a wire color. That looks very similar to the connectors that's used on the bottom of a CRT monitor. There's some of these smaller ones. That one there looks like it would mate up with the optical door sensors. So it was worthwhile to pull this and just set it aside in case I ever need to use any of those wires or connectors. This was the power supply panel with the fuses in it. That is completely different from what's in an S Plus machine, so I'm just saving that for parts. Looks like it's got a power switch on it. And then here, these were the 3 fuse holders. You do have these same 3 fuse holders in both your slot and poker machines, and I just pulled these out and set them aside. That's got the top knob as well as it's holding the fuse in it already, so you can pull those out if you're missing or have a blown fuse in your machine. That is a handy part to have in your spare parts kit. I've also been pulling off some of the stickers and decals that are inside these machines. Probably the most important one here is I got a 25-cent coin insert, and I actually ordered one of these off of eBay one time, and it was like 19 bucks. So that's another good piece to have around if you're upgrading a machine from nickels to quarters. These are the mechanical coin counters. For home use, you very rarely would use these, but if yours is not functioning and you just wanted to swap it out with one that was, then there you go. I got a little speaker. And kind of enough said about that. If your speaker's blown, that looks like a good one. There's a cabinet door switch. These are not commonly used in the upright cabinets. One thing to note about these switches, I do see these in arcade machines a lot, and it's a safety interlock for the door on your cabinet. And so when the door is closed, it holds the button down and allows power to go to your monitor or the rest of the system. Then you open the door and the button comes up. It kills the power. That's a safety feature. What a lot of people don't realize about these things is that you can grab this plunger and pull it out, and that will re-energize the switch and turn it back on. It's a safety switch. When you open the door, it kills the power, but if you're a technician and you know what you're doing, you just grab this, pull it back out, and it will bring power back to the machine. These are little grounding straps. That's often used to connect your door or some metal parts together just to keep the whole cabinet grounded. Sometimes these get frayed and torn up, so I grabbed a few of those. This is all fluorescent lighting parts, ballast, starters, the end connectors that the fluorescent bulbs go into, the black and white power wiring. That could be used to rewire any fluorescent light that you have in your cabinet, which brings us to these. There were 3 bulbs that came out of it. They're looking pretty rough. This one even has a bad end on it, so it's probably a throwaway. But coming out of the slant top style machine, you may get a working bulb, but these are going to be the longer, I believe this is a 17-inch bulb that would fit down into the belly glass. If you have a slot machine, or if you had a wide body poker machine with the embedded bill acceptor, it would use these longer fluorescent tubes. The ones in these upright cabinets, this is a shorter, I think it's a 15-inch tube that fits up in here. These have gotten expensive and hard to find lately, so if you've got a working fluorescent bulb, hang on to it. These were the control panel switches. I got a full set of buttons that I can use, along with the micro switches and bulbs that go underneath these buttons, and its attendant wiring harness. So I could rewire an entire control panel with that. On a slot machine, that does me no good on a poker machine. Door locks, this is a good one. That's the 5/8-inch tubular door lock made by the LAI Corporation and using key number 7296, which I have found on many machines. The machine was locked when I bought it. I just tried a key from a machine that I already had. It fit. I was able to unlock it without having to break into the machine. And then also the other key lock that I've got is the jackpot reset switch. That one uses the standard jackpot reset switch key, which is numbered 2341. These are all the same across all of the IGT machines, so that's a keeper. Okay, now we're getting to the good stuff. The coin comparator and its chassis. These are expensive. You'll see these being sold for upwards of $50, $75 or more. It's untested, but this is the same coin comparator that is used in both my slot and poker machines, and so that is a pretty decent score there. This is the chassis that it fits into. All of this looks the same to me, except for the harness. The wiring harness has this screwball-looking connector on the end of it. I have only seen that type of connector used in a slant top. It's completely different in the uprights. So the wiring harness looks like it's no good other than maybe this part right here. This part of the wiring harness, that's reusable. This larger part down here, not so much. I got a heck of a lot of little nuts and bolts and screws. You know, these machines are full of these little Phillips head machine screws, small nuts. A lot of them have built-in lock washers. So I saved them all, and I'll just have those as extras in case I drop any screws on the floor and I can't find them. These are the reels for the slot machines with the built-in stepper motors. I've never seen these fail before, and I truly don't know that much about them, but these are from a red, white, and blue slot machine, so I would think that they would be interchangeable with this one. Looks like they are. Those are probably the same. So the big question that I had about the slant top poker machine is, can I pull the coin hopper out of a slant top and use it in an upright slot or poker machine? And here is the coin hopper that came out of it, and right off the bat, there's some really interesting stuff going on here. First of all, I had never seen this before, but I think it's really cool, is that in the slant top machines, this is mounted lower in the cabinet with the coin tray being up high, and it has this elevator mechanism where when the coin hopper spins around, it feeds the coins up this slot. It's like an elevator that moves the coins upward to pay out to the customer. So that's really cool. I'd never seen how one of those worked before. Let's look at the rest of this though, and I'm going to pull another coin hopper. This one here is one that came out of the cats and dogs machine behind me. It's an S Plus hopper. It's very similar in construction to the draw poker machines. The only difference is usually this handle and the plastic coin bin itself, but mechanically they're just alike. And what I can see, for starters, is that these are just totally different. They're left, right, reversed from one another. This one isn't going to slide into that machine at all. The electrical connectors on the back are also totally different. We've got these plugs are used on both the poker and slot upright machines. The slant top has a totally different plug on the back. The rest of this it just all looks totally different to me. One thing I hope would be useful out of this, it's a little difficult to see right now, but it's the pinwheel that's inside the machine that determines the diameter of coin that you use. And if you're rebuilding a hopper to convert it from nickels to quarters, you're going to need this inner disc on your hopper. But ultimately, I'm just going to have to say that I was really disappointed here. I thought that that machine would have a hopper that was very similar in most ways to what's in the upright cabinets, and it's just not. It's a completely different animal, and there are very few parts on that that are going to translate to a different cabinet. So that was a little bit of a letdown. While I was cleaning out the cabinet, I did manage to find what looks to be about $8 worth of quarters. I think if you couple that with, it looks like we got a couple dollars more in the hopper here. That may cover the $10 worth of gas that it cost me to go pick this machine up. That pretty much covers all the parts that came out of the slant top machine. By way of a recap, the coin hopper itself was a big letdown. I wish this was more compatible than it was. I'm glad I didn't have to drive too far to get it. There were a lot of smaller electronic and mechanical parts that do translate from the slant top to the upright cabinets. Oh, I know, I'm going to show you one more thing. In the event that you need a new CRT monitor for your poker machine, let's say you found a slant top poker and you're pulling the monitor to go into one of these. That one is also different. There's a key difference here. First of all, within the slant top cabinet, a monitor is mounted upside down. It's actually hung like this inside the cabinet. And if you look, you can see that the burn-in on this CRT, that the cards are burned in down here because the monitor is hung upside down. In an upright cabinet, your monitor is mounted like this. So that's a huge difference between a slant top monitor and a upright monitor. This frame is also completely different. It does not have the 3 metal tabs on the bottom that your upright monitors have, and also it has one of those wackadoo plugs on the back, the same thing that we saw on the coin hopper over here. That type of plug isn't used in any of the upright cabinets. A CRT monitor coming out of a slant top machine to be used in an upright poker machine for the most part is not compatible. You may be able to pull its chassis. That's a topic for a different video, but generally consider the slant top CRT monitors also not compatible with an upright cabinet. Okay, so I'd say that like the best stuff that I pulled out of that cabinet would probably be, number one, the coin comparator, the coin inserts, the sticker that says 25 cents, the coin slot for upgrading from 5 cents to a quarter, the inner disc that goes in the hopper if you're changing the denomination of a machine. Those are all parts that I've had to order off of eBay before, and they weren't cheap. So, you know, certainly it was worth going and getting the thing and bringing it back here and pulling all the parts out of it. But some of the biggest parts, the coin hopper or potentially a CRT monitor, are not as compatible as I had hoped. And that is what happens when you part out an S Plus slot machine hoping to put those pieces into your upright poker or slot machine. Thanks for watching.